Colombia to Mix News Colombia. We have the opportunity with Jeff, the Vice President of Checkpoint, Vice President for engineering for all the Americas.
Yes.
Jeff, what is the time today for the companies about security? The world is changing so quick. Artificial intelligence. Very few people trained about this. So, what the companies can do in this time?
Yeah. So certainly our security problems seem to be getting worse. That companies are spending more and more on security, but the problems don't necessarily seem to get any better. And I think that there's three factors that are contributing to why that's the case. One, there's an increase in sophistication of attacks, and part of that is because of AI tools and the ability to scale very sophisticated attacks has become very trivial. The second factor is that organizations have invested in very, very expensive solutions that provide a very narrow piece of the solution to the problem. And these narrow technologies, because they only solve a small piece of the problem, they create operational challenges for companies to maintain and keep up and patch and upgrade and ensure that there's a very strong security policy to support them. And the third factor is that many organizations struggle with the human resources, the human manpower to actually operationalize all of these technologies and have good visibility into what are the threats that they most need to address. So so the three challenges are around the sophistication of attacks, the fragmentation of technologies that companies have invested in up to this point, and the fact that their people don't have necessarily the greatest expertise to manage this increased complexity of technologies and increased sophistication of attacks. So the best solution and the approach that we've seen organizations most successful with solving these challenges is investing in a platform that can provide 80% of the security capabilities that they may need and provide that broad set of functionalities so their people can only need to learn one suite of technologies. And two, invest in that type of platform that is focused on qualitative advantage around preventative controls. So much of the technologies in our industry these days is focused on commodity functionality, that good enough security is perceived to be good enough. But the reality is that good enough security is very rarely good enough. So there needs to be a focus on qualitative advantage, and that qualitative advantage frequently leverages AI tools and AI capabilities to be able to provide very broad enforcement controls and also be very flexible if there's changes in the threat landscape to be able to mitigate any threats that are unknown up to this point.
This is not as easy. Any company needs security as needs the reputation in business and needs to protect it. Everything that I cannot imagine. But the company probably can train and probably can organize, set up their own people in the core of the business. But you said there is a lot of possibility, more than the focus, more than the core that affect on the company, and it's difficult to train to the talent and the technology. Is your company only for I mean, as a CEO, we can stay and see what happened, or before that, as to a company that has everything, the people training, the technology, the new world, the different technology that are coming that more fast than we can think. It's better giving us a chance to the companies what can do, and the universities. I'm academic, so give a tip for the universities.
What they can do.
We can do that to improve, and your company, what is the role in this new world?
So it really comes down to what the organization or the institution's core competencies are and their core priorities. that it's like in many other areas. If a company is focused on marketing, then they have their own marketing people, and they train marketing people to have awareness and know all the latest technologies and tools and what can help them from a marketing perspective. It's similar in security. However, if an institution doesn't have the internal know-how, they can't just outsource it. There are certain elements of security that are very, very critical and need to be maintained internally. So while there's certainly the capability to outsource or hire partners and managed service providers that can help facilitate security operations and help train the internal people on security, certain parts of security need to be maintained in-house because it's very dangerous for organizations to outsource all of their security operations to third-party organizations. In the case of academia and universities, it's especially challenging because there's this perception of open resources and open access to information. And being able to provide security controls around that in this environment where there's a need for openness and transparency and open access is very often in conflict. So there needs to be a security partner, whether it's a third party or whether it's hired internally to the institution. But that's how we've seen most institutions solve the problem, is to partner or have a managed service provider that can offer these services to help fill the gaps where the institution doesn't have the resources to deliver.
The problems are so big, but the solution has to be bigger and bigger every day. Every day. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
for
you
the time. Yeah, appreciate
thank you
it.
for the time for this color.